Hey folks, welcome to another top 10 video as we wrap up the year in action figures on Big Dub's YouTube channel. It is the day before New Year's Eve. Talk a little bit about upcoming videos. Tomorrow you're going to get a normal vlog episode as you do on Sunday. And then on Monday, for January 1st, New Year's Day, you will get my overall top 10. My top 10 figures of the year, where we go back through all the lists that we've just talked about over the previous few days, figure out what my 10 favorite. We'll also talk about the big vehicles and so forth. So that's what's coming up on the channel as you are celebrating your new year, which hopefully you have fun plans, safe plans, and you kind of have your mindset about what you want 2024 to be for you and what your goals may be and so forth. And you enjoy it. Hopefully safely. But today's video, we're going to talk about my 10 favorite figures from Four Horsemen Studios this year. My 10 favorite figures from Four Horsemen Studios. They are the category I brought the third most of. Number 1 being NECA, number 2 being G.I. Joe Classified. And those are both mass retail things that are readily available. So that makes sense. Four Horsemen number 3. I believe I bought everything they offered this year. I believe. So let's talk through it. I bought 56 total items. 5 of them were accessory packs of some sort. Hands pack, heads pack, weapons pack, those types of things. They have those usually in almost every way. So 51 figures. No vehicles out of this line. And were there mounts this year? I do not think there were mounts. So no animals this year. I do not think. But they do have technically 4 lines going now. 3 official lines and then kind of another category. So this year, I bought 26 Mythic Legions. 26 Mythic Legions. Now, if you look at some of my friends in the Mythic Legions community that have all been doing their top 10 lists, they probably have less figures listed because the All-Star releases, they don't normally count for Figure of the Year because it is a different year's figure. I also won't be counting it. Like, I'm not going to pick one of the All-Stars figures as my figure of the year. But I bought it. So just when I'm telling you these numbers, it's just so I can figure out how many action figures I bought this year. And I did buy the All-Star, so it does count. 26 Mythic figures. 19 Cosmic Legion figures. The year of the Cosmic Legion's debut, they're going to be very well represented on my list. 5 Figura Obscura figures. All 5 that released this year, which includes 2 retailer releases. And then one other, that was Demistros. That was the PowerCon exclusive Demistros, which is not a Mythic Legions item. It looks like Mythic Legions. It will play well with your Mythic Legions, but it's technically not Mythic Legions. It's not in the lore of Mythic Legions. They have another one of those coming up for ZoloCon next year. And so I'm going to start using that as kind of an other category for Horsemen, where they put out the figure using Legions parts, but it isn't something that's in the Legions line. So let's go through. 51 plus 5 accessory packs. Accessory packs aren't going to be on this list. My 10 favorite figures. If a thing came in a 2-pack, I separate. I don't treat it as 2. I treat it as 1 and 1, and I figure out which one's the best. Which we'll start right away with that. This is from the War of the Aetherblade video game Kickstarter crowdfund. The 2-pack Gorgo Aetherblade version 2. I don't know why I said it like that. Gorgo Aetherblade version 2. It's a Mythic Legions figure. It's gorgeous. This 2-pack, and spoilers, the partner in the 2-pack will come later, is such a great representation of what a version 2 should be. So if you don't know your Mythic Legions terminology, and some of this is not really official terminology, but you hear 1.0. 1.0 is often referring to a body style. It is the body style that came out first. It's the buck, the general buck, that is the most familiar. So if you think about the orcs, if you think about the knights, they're in 1.0 bodies. They're a little bigger, a little bulkier. In their second Kickstarter, it became known as 2.0 because it was almost like Mythic Legions 2.0 fan name. But 2.0 bodies are more slender. They're like the elves. They're the female characters. And the parts between the two are not as interchangeable, like as straight pop and swap. Now, there's certainly people that do use them together, but they don't pop and swap the same way that 1.0 do and 2.0 do. So when I say Gorgo Etherblade version 2, I'm not talking about a 2.0 body. I'm talking about the second release, a updated reimagining of this character. So it's not a reissue, which also happens in the All-Stars where a figure gets a reissue. But that's normally identical to the previous figure. This is, we're making a second version and we're going to make him cooler using the new articulation we've learned, the new parts we use, etc. I think you're going to see several of the big characters like Gorgo Aetherblade, a very big character in the story, get this in the coming years with Legions. This figure's awesome. It's got the great weapons with him. The head is tremendous. I love the black and red paint on the body. And the cape is tremendous from Sea Jessam. It's a little different, so you have to figure out how to use it. But it's great. It's one of my favorite Mythic Legions figures of the year. Go to number 9. This is the Legions Con exclusive. Another version 2. And I think a lot of people are just going to keep having version 2s on their list. Vorgus Vermilius version 2. Vorgus Vermilius is like the blood vampire. He wears a power suit that sucks the blood out of you and all this cool stuff. And the version 1, which is a 1.0, a very old release, it's a pretty valuable figure. This is such a better figure. It has multiple head sculpts, including the Legions Con exclusive, which is like the translucent, almost red hair where like the blood is being sucked out of the vampire's head. It's really, really cool. It's really, really nice. It comes with an incredible, massive, massive cape. And we'll get a general release in 2024. So if you're after it, you can get it. Coming in at number 8, that's a Mythic Legions figure as well. Number 8, another Mythic Legions figure. And here's a spoiler. The last Mythic Legions figure on this list. Mythic holds number 10, number 9, number 8, and no more spots on my list. So this is technically my favorite Mythic Legions figure of the year. It is Attila version 2 from the 2-pack with Gorgo Aetherblade, the person we were previously talking about. So all 3 of my Mythics are all version 2s. The lion head helmet with the face in it, the huge lion pauldrons, they are awesome. The bright gold, this figure's tremendous. It's fun. It gets harvested for all kind of people's different stuff. But it is just a tremendous figure, and I highly recommend it if you can get your hands on that 2-pack. It got pretty expensive there for a while, but I think there's some supply out there. I mean, even its retail price is probably around 80 or 100 bucks because they're both pretty deluxe figures. So, you know, if you can get it around $100, $120, I'd recommend picking it up because this guy is awesome. I mean, he can be the king of whatever action figure you want him to be the king of, and I love him. All right, moving ahead, 10, 9, 8, number 7. This is also a Legions Con exclusive. It is our first Cosmic Legions figure appearing. It is the Waltor the Mad from the Waltor the Mad 2-pack, which had a Cosmic and a Mythic. The Mythic's great. It's a kind of standard skeleton. We're about to see new skeletons pretty soon, so, you know, that one doesn't do it quite as well for me, but this Cosmic figure that's in the same tusk kind of armor that we've seen a couple times now, but this bright orange color that I love. I just love it. And it's the paint job, really, that sets this thing off for me. As tends to happen with me for a lot of things. So when the paint job's really good, I love it. Also, like, who knows what accessories you want to use with this. It comes with all kind of different stuff. But, you know, you can put, like, the alien skull head on it. There's a Cabal banner in that pack. He's got a Cabal shield, a Cosmic Cabal shield. How cool is that, right? And it's just the one I like the most because I like the color scheme, the Waltor the Mad. I want to make sure my man Walt's represented on this list. Moving ahead, 10, 9, 8, 7 to number 6. It is our first Figura Obscura figure of the year. And it's the one I most recently got. It is Marley's Ghost, Jacob Marley's Ghost. Figura Obscura. If you're not familiar with their Figura Obscura line, it's 2 to 3 figures a year, usually main releases. Then sometimes they do have repaints that are sold by like Big Bad Toy Store or their other retailers. And they are things that are drawn out of like literature or myth. Things you've heard of but aren't like copyrighted. So like Bigfoot would be an example. And this is Jacob Marley's Ghost from A Christmas Carol from Charles Dickens' book, which I think a lot of us guessed some version of Marley's Ghost or the Christmas Ghost. I think they're also gonna bring more, maybe Scrooge or other Christmas ghosts from the way the teaser was. Figure Obscura is such a fun thing because everything else with Horsemen, we get a pre-order, we pay, and you wait. a year or two for the figures to come in. With Figure Obscura, you get a tease on a Friday. Saturday, you get a chance to buy it. And in some cases, you've got that figure by like Tuesday. And that's awesome. So it's a really like excitement building. It's almost like a Netflix drop of Stranger Things, where it's like 5 great days of excitement. And then maybe there's a little hangover, right, because it's over. But a lot of excitement. I just actually got mine in. I got mine in much later than a lot of people. And that's because I added on a bunch of stuff like extra pins and extra cards and mugs. And that makes the logistics of shipping, you kind of get pushed to the end. Whereas the people that order one figure, it's slap a label on it, get it out the door. So I'm fine. I understand the way logistics work, and I don't mind waiting. But I just last night opened it, played with it. He's awesome, awesome, awesome. He has all these chains and money boxes and alternate heads and a bunch of new parts, which make me excited for the future of all the lines, because they can all use this. So Marley's Ghost comes in at number 6, Four Horsemen figure of the year. Number 5, I think one of the most versatile figures that they've ever made. From Cosmic Legions, and it's from the book 2, the most recent wave, Sligor. This guy can be a named character, Sligor. It can also be like the mercenaries that protect like the Grave Ring. He's got 3 or 4 alternate heads. He's got just multiple ways you can appear him. I bet you can present this guy 20 different ways. All these different accessories, all these different interchangeable parts on him, and shield parts and weapon parts and energy effects, all this cool stuff. It was a pretty pricey figure, even at the Horseman price, as at a deluxe. One of the pricier figures that I have a recollection of in their line, if you buy it price, almost like a horse price, a little bit less than that. But he's beautiful, and I love him, and a lot of people think he is an Apocalypse inspiration, but figure I'd definitely pick up. Moving ahead to number 4, also from the same wave, Cosmic Legions Wave 2, Iasipidian. I think I'm saying it right. Iasipidian. This is the gray-born alien dude. Even cooler that I got to paint a bust of him at Legions Con. I bought 4 of this guy right away before I even opened him. It makes me think of X-Files, which was one of my very favorite things to watch growing up. I love that show. It's kind of the first prestige type of TV show, or like serialized ongoing TV show that I ever watched. And I just think this figure's awesome. It's really tall. Certainly it had some issues. A lot of people had some broken pegs, and you had to put them in the coffee water and all this stuff. And people that don't know what I'm talking about are like, what did you just say? Well, yeah, look it up. It's funny. But I think the sculpt is amazing, and I look forward to see what they continue to do with these kind of gray-born aliens. We got another one coming next wave, which I'm excited for. All right, top 3 Mythic or Four Horsemen figures of the year. Number 3, from Cosmic Legions again. This was a PowerCon early release. It will be in wave 3 of Cosmic Legions next year, and that is Scourge. It's a big green dragon, a huge green dragon. Of course I'm going to like it. It's a dragon. But this guy is also a Motu inspired, so you can put him in the Master of the Universe style or the Dragon style, whichever you prefer. We have Arakagor, which is using a lot of the same pieces, which is a big blue dragon, coming in the Poxus wave, who I expect would have been one of my top figures in Mythic this year, maybe my number 1. But I don't have him. I won't have him until next year. Look for him on the list next year, I'm sure. But he's a big dragon. He's awesome. Now, I understand because I was at PowerCon, I'm one of the few that was able to get this figure early, but he's really good, and I love it. And I had to put him on the list. He's a big dragon. Now, next year, with the 25th anniversary of Four Horsemen Studios and the 10th anniversary of the Mythic Legions line, I expect a big dragon to be announced. So it's just me. Move to number 2. My number 2 Four Horsemen figure of the year, Cosmic Legions Slog. Should not surprise you that he is rated that high if you know me. I like my big chunky toys. I'm a big boy, big hands. I like to play with big toys. I don't want to have to deal with, like, there's another in the, what is Canox Vol that's in that Cosmic Legions wave 2, and you got all these hoses you got to like put in the little holes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to buckle the belt on a Mezco belt. I big hands. I want a big old boy I can hold and play with. That's what I want to do. And this guy is awesome. He's chunky. He's his own scale, his own size. I have no idea how they're going to reuse any of these parts unless they're just going to have, now here's Slog and he's blue, now here's Slog and he's red. But true reuse, I don't know how they're going to do it because he's very unique. He only comes with a little bit, but I love him so much. I even bought Scotty, repainted him to kind of look like he's Krang and translucent pink. I love that one too. I got 2 of this guy. I even have a 3rd. I have an extra of him in case I find some other head that I want to use with him for. Like there was a frog head that Ishkan had that I've thought about. I just love a big chunky action figure. He does it for me. And that's also my favorite Cosmic Legion of the year. Go to number 1, my favorite Four Horsemen figure of the year, Figura Obscura, Monkey King. Amazing figure. Period. Amazing. One of the best figures that I have played with in 5 years. Now, you could say, do I wish it had the same articulation as like a Mafex or a Figma? Maybe. Maybe. But not if it would mess up the aesthetic, because this figure is gorgeous. It had so many new parts. It had incredible soft goods from C. Jessam. It had all this intricate armor details on it. You could harvest monkey hands, monkey feet, monkey head, and put it on a completely different figure and have 2 monkey figures and still be able to equip Monkey King with a different monkey head, a different monkey hands, a different monkey, and like boot feet. That's just super cool to me. And I did harvest them. And I have a Space Monkey custom. And I'm thinking about making like a Son Goku Great Ape monkey custom. This figure is, I think, one of the greatest fodder figures for customizers. Now, a lot of these parts will come out in a couple years when the House Noble Bear Rising Sunwave comes out with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that character, but there's a character that has some of these parts on it. But it just had so many cool things, and it was from Journey of the West. It was such a out of left field. You know, it was when people thinking the Easter Bunny was going to be the Figura Obscura. And it really opened up the doors of imagination to what Figura Obscura could be. But it also is an amazing figure. And a figure that, if you want to know what Four Horsemen Studios is all about, get Sun Wukong and Monkey King. It's the best figure they made this year. The best figure they have ever made. And that may not be topped for a while, because I think it's awesome. Now you'll say, Dub, you didn't list the Valiant Knight. All these other Legions people I picked, that I watched, put the Valiant Knight high on their list. No? I got the Valiant Knight. I got it at Legions Con. Is it really nice? Yeah. It's really nice that they've increased the articulation. They found ways to make it pose better without breaking up the aesthetic. That's all awesome. But it's still just a kind of generic plain Knight builder. Not that I don't like it, but it's not like it's the same thing as Monkey King. Like, it's not a main character. It's a buck that, as soon as the named Templar Knights that are going to be on this buck come out later this year, I hope, like in Necronominus or whenever, nobody's going to think about the Valiant Knight anymore. It's going to be custom fodder. It's going to get painted. It's going to be alternate heads on it because it's a wonderful buck. But that's not figure of the year for me. That's maybe buck of the year, but it's not figure of the year. And I think once those named knights come out, they're all going to make a contender for figure of the year. Because what they've done with that buck is awesome. But it's just kind of a generic knight. And I love my named characters like Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Hope you have a great New Year's. Happy New Year's to you. You'll get the vlog tomorrow. We'll come back on Monday with top 10 figures of the year overall. Thanks for watching. Squeeze it.